meat is forbidden, the dung of a dog, as well as the dung of any predatory animal, the saliva of predatory animals, as well as the dog, the droppings of chicken, duck, swan, and whatever discharges from a person's body, which nullifies the wudu. All of these things will be classified as ghaliza, as heavy filth. أمثلة من النجاسة الخفيفة. So we have examples of light filth, كبول الفرس, and this is strictly according to the Hanafi school. So the author, Imam Shurungulali, he writes, وَأَمَّا الْخَفِيفَةِ, as for light filth, فَكَبَوْلِ الْفَرَسِ, it includes the urine of a horse. Even though Imam Muhammad, one of the students of Abu Hanifa, said that the meat of the horse is considered as tahir and pure, but the urine of a horse, this is considered as a najasa khafifa. فَكَبَوْلِ الْفَرَسِ وَكَذَا بَوْلْ مَا يُؤْكَلْ لَحْمُهُ. Similarly, the urine of an animal whose meat is lawful to eat, such as a goat, sheep, a cow. Also, وَخُرْءِ طَيْرٍ لَا يُؤْكَلْ, the droppings of a bird which is forbidden to eat. So you have birds that are forbidden to eat, like falcon, eagle, hawk. These are predatory birds. They are not allowed for consumption. So their urine also would be considered. Their urine, however, is not classified as ghaliza. It is classified as khafifa, light najasa. Now, moving forward, ma yu'fa anhu min al-anjas. What is the amount of najasa that is excused, that you can overlook it? You can still offer the prayers, and you can still do certain things. For example, if it is on your clothing. So what is that amount? So he writes, وَعُفِيَ عَنْ قَدْرِ الدِّرْهَمْ مِنَ الْمُغَلَّظَةِ. So what he's saying over here is that when it comes to heavy filth, when it comes to ghaliza, heavy filth, the size of a dirham is excused. The size of a dirham is overlooked. Meaning that if a person offers the prayer and on his clothing there is najasa, the equivalent of a dirham. So the dirham is approximately, have you ever seen a 50-cent coin? That would be the diameter of a dirham. A 50-cent coin would be the diameter of a dirham. So if a person has that much najasa, which is the size of a 50-cent coin, that would be overlooked, meaning salat would be permissible in such a state. So if it is on the clothing or if it is on the body. وَعُفِيَ عَنْ قَدْرِ الدِّرْهَمْ مِنَ الْمُغَلَّظَةِ وَمَا دُونَ رُبْعِ الثَّوْبِ أَوِ الْبَدَنِ مِنَ الْمُخَفَّفَةِ. And he's saying that if when it comes to light filth, khafifa, when it comes to light filth, which has come onto the clothing, it's less than 1/4 of one's dress or body, 1/4 of the dress or body, that too is going to be excused. وَمَا دُونَ رُبْعِ الثَّوْبِ. It is less than 1/4 of the cloth or the body, and it is light filth, it's not heavy. This is also overlooked, and a person is permitted to offer salat, but this is related to light filth. Obviously, if it is more than that, then salat would not be permissible. Same thing with mughalladha. When it's heavy filth, if it's more than the size of a dirham, then it has to be removed. It has to be washed. وَعُفِيَ عَنْ رَشَاشِ بَوْلٍ كَرُؤُوسِ الْإِبِلِ. So the author, he writes that similarly, specks or drops of urine, such as, for example, the head, right? You know, the top part of the needle where you thread, right? that area, the amount of that, this is excused. This is overlooked when it comes to offering salat. Obviously, it's better to always remove, but sometimes a person doesn't know. Right? A person doesn't know, and it's at times impossible. But if a person knows, then it's always better that najasa is removed. We should always try to offer our prayers with complete cleanliness. The body should be clean, and the clothing should be clean. وَلَبْتَلَّ فِرَاشٌ أَوْ تُرَابٌ نَجِسَانِ مِنْ عَرَقِ نَائِمٍ أَوْ بَلَلِ قَدَمٍ وَظَهَرَ أَثْرُ النَّجَاسَةِ فِي الْبَدَنِ وَالْقَدَمْ تَنَجَّسَ وَإِلَّا فَلَا. So he's saying over here, if a bed or the ground, right, has been stained, it's been afflicted by najasa, impurity, and it becomes wet. It becomes wet because of, for example, a person has sweat on it, or he has slept on it because one's, for example, wet feet was on the soil, and as a result, the najasa, it comes onto the body, it comes onto the feet, then both are going to be considered as impure. They will be both considered as impure, and it would not be permissible to offer salat. If the trace of najasa doesn't appear on the body or the feet, then they are not regarded as impure. So this is very clear. Again, وَلَبْتَلَّ فِرَاشٌ أَوْ تُرَابٌ نَجِسَانِ مِنْ عَرَقٍ. So he's saying نَجِسَانِ مِنْ عَرَقِ نَائِمٍ أو بلل قدم وظهر أثر النجاسة في البدن والقدم تنجس وإلا فلا. So both of them will become najasa. So if a bed or the ground, it was stained by najasa, it becomes wet because of the sweat, or if a person slept on it, or because of one's wet feet came on and touched that ground, and as a result of that, the trace of najasa, it comes onto the body or the feet, then both of them will be considered as impure. And if it doesn't, then they are not regarded as impure. So the condition is that it has to be visible. It has to be visible, otherwise it is going to be overlooked. We'll stop over here and continue next week.
What was this head of a needle?
Yeah.
You said head of a needle.
Yeah, the head of a needle, small needle.
No, what was that related?
That was related to urine drops. So if the urine drop, yeah, if a person, for example, is using the restroom, sometimes there is a backsplash due to the force of the stream. So if that is the case, and it is a small amount, right, and that amount is similar to the size of the hole in the needle, which you take a string to thread, then that is going to be overlooked. Of course, more than that, it has to be removed.